year I officially launched my small business, and one thing I learned is that having a small business is really hard, but it also is one of the most fun and rewarding and creative things I've gotten to do in my entire life, and it has been so worth it. So after I started planning my small business, I officially started selling a few months later, and now here we are 6 months later. I have been selling full time, and this is what I spend my time doing, and I have learned so much in the last 6 months to a year. So I thought I'd put together a list of some of the things I've learned since starting my business, so that anyone else who's watching who is maybe wanting to start their own business or even has one already, you could get some advice. The first thing I had to learn the hard way is that it's better to get it done than to get it perfect. As someone who needs things to be perfect, this was really hard for me, but I feel like if you keep waiting until things are perfect, your start date is going to be so late. The first example that I can think of is applying to markets. When I first wanted to start applying to markets, my Instagram only had maybe 1 or 2 posts, and they weren't anything revolutionary, and so I was worried about applying to markets because I didn't want to get rejected because I didn't have a strong social media presence. But I ended up applying anyways, and I'm so grateful that I did because I was able to get accepted, and then being able to do those markets helped get me more content for my social media. So if I would have waited until I had a quote-unquote really popular social media or big presence before applying to markets, it would have taken me way longer, and I would have missed out on some great events that I did this year. Along with that, it could be things like your website or your banner or your thank you cards, any of those kinds of things. You obviously want those things to be good, but if you're being so nitpicky about it that you're not able to make any extra decisions or change anything, that's not good. So I would always do get it done and then make it perfect along the way. Number 2 might be a bit of a controversial one, but I said embrace your competition and support other small businesses. So what I mean by that is I obviously sell candles. That's what I bring to markets, and at most markets that I've gone to, there have been other candle people. This is not a new revolutionary idea where no one has done it before, so I'm used to seeing a lot of other candle people at markets that I go to. I know for some people that's really annoying and they don't like it, and they don't like being placed next to those people because it can potentially deter sales to them. But for me personally, I always just love going up to people who sell other candles and just talking with them, letting them know that I'm also a candle vendor. I tell them how much I like their products, and we can just chit chat, and it's so fun. I remember one of my first markets, there was another lady there who sold candles, and I just felt kind of awkward. I didn't really know what to do, but she came right over to me and was so nice and so kind, and was just hyping up my products and saying all these kind things that I just remember thinking, I want to do that for other people. I don't want people to ever think, oh, I hope they're not annoyed that we're so close together, or oh, we're competitors so we shouldn't acknowledge each other. It's just survival of the fittest. I don't feel like that at all. I feel like there's a space for everyone, and everyone's products can always be so fun and unique and different, even if they are all candles. So I would just say support the other small businesses that sell the same things as you, and just support small businesses in general because there's enough space for everyone. And I personally feel like the energy that you give out is the energy that you receive. Number 3, I'm still working on this one. This one's pretty hard for me, but it's show a person, not just a product. I feel like on YouTube I'm really good at this because it's a lot of me talking, so you guys get to kind of know the person behind the business. But on Instagram, I still kind of struggle with that. I feel like it's easier for me to just post a product photo versus a reel or something where maybe I'm being vulnerable or talking about myself, my failures, things I've tried, which of course you want to have product photos, but also people don't want to follow you just for product photos. They want to follow you as a person because they care about you and how you're doing. So I've been trying hard to work on that, just making sure that I am personally more present in my content online, especially for short form content, which I'm not great at, but I just think it is so helpful for people to see the person that is putting in all their time and energy into making those products. For example, all of my candles, I want people to know that I make them here in my apartment, that they're hand poured, hand labeled, handcrafted by me. That makes it way more special, and that's also why people are willing to pay higher prices versus getting something from Bath & Body Works or TJ Maxx where you can get a candle for $10. People want to know that there has been time and care put into their products. All right, for number 4, I said don't leave time to overthink. This is easier said than done, but I just feel like when I've spent a lot of time just obsessing over details and feeling like I can't make any decisions, I have not been having fun in my small business at all. So some things that I've tried to help with that is just signing up for things and keeping myself busy, and just always working on small tweaks. I have a to-do list in my phone that I'm just constantly adding new things to, and I think that has helped me so much more, is just being busy and doing small little tasks and tweaks and making new products, things like that, versus if I sit there and I'm just in my head, I kind of feel like I'm paralyzed and can't make any decisions because everything seems so intense and so big. But if I have just on my to-do list, oh, you need to edit your YouTube video today, put out a post, you need to change the photo on this, it helps just put things into more manageable bite-sized pieces versus having a whole existential crisis of, oh, is my brand presence enough? Am I posting good enough content? Just do it, and then throughout time you'll see what works. Next, I will say investing in things is hard. It's tough. I have had a really hard time with this. I am kind of a frugal person. I don't love spending money. So it has been hard for me to spend on some things. For example, getting my wax melter. This was desperately needed because I was doing everything on the stovetop, which meant I could only make 4 or 5 candles at a time, and it just took so long. So I had to invest in a wax melter, which I think was around $130, which isn't crazy, but when you're spending money on not only the products yourself, but also things to invest in to help you make your products quicker, it's tough and it can feel very stressful, especially if you don't have sales coming in. But for me, it's always been so worth it when I've invested in things. For example, just this rack right here, I got it from Sam's Club and I think it was around $90 to $100, which is expensive for a shelf, but it's such high quality and has been so amazing. And I really need to get another shelf to go right here so I have more space to put wax and packaging things, but it's just hard for me to pull the trigger. And if you have a small business, maybe you just understand it's tough when it's your own personal money that you're spending on things that you know are going to be so helpful and useful. It's just hard to pay it, and I still struggle with that even though I have more money coming in now than I did before. But at the end of the day, it is really important that you're doing everything you can to make your process as smooth and efficient as possible. And if that means spending a bit more money on something that will help streamline your process, at the end of the day, it's going to save you money because you're not wasting your time anymore. So it's hard. I'm still dealing with that, but it's just something you should know if you're going to start a small business. This next one I might have to explain a bit more, but it says help customers find a product if you have lots of options. So one thing that I've noticed for me is that I have lots of different candle scents and it's hard for me to narrow them down. And when I bring them to markets, I normally have about 12 to 16 scents for people to pick from. And I've seen a lot of people come over and they're just a little bit unsure because there's so many options. So what I like to do is I normally ask them, what kind of scents do you normally like? And a lot of them will say, oh, I like a really woody, earthy, musky scent. So I'll say, oh, you might like our coastal sea breeze or harvest moon, and I'll point them in those directions. Other people might say they like sweet bakery scents. So I'll say we have an apple cider donut or we have a lemon blueberry tart. I think it's really helpful to be able to point people in the direction of things that they might like. So if that's something that you're noticing is that people maybe seem a little bit overwhelmed when they come to your booth, maybe just try to ask them a few questions and then give them a few pointers at things they might like, but also make sure to back off after that. Don't say, oh, this product would be amazing, you would totally love it, you need to have it, blah, blah, blah. Let's send it home with you today. I like to just say some of our most popular fruity scents are this and this, which you might like. This has also been selling well. People who like this scent also like this. I just like to give them information and then completely let them decide on their own, which I think people really appreciate because it gives them the information they need, helps point out products that they might like without feeling like I'm pushing them into a sale. This next one kind of goes along with that, but I wrote, it's hard to talk about yourself. I feel this so deeply whenever we're at markets. A lot of times I'll be there with my husband and he has such an easier time talking about the products and hyping them up and really selling them to customers. And I feel like as the business owner, it's so much harder for me to do that. It just makes me feel very like self-conscious and makes me feel like I'm bragging or I have a big head. At one of our markets, we were talking to the booth next to us and it was a girl there and she had her sister. And we were talking about how for the sister and my husband, it's so much easier to hype up the product. But as the person who makes them, it is just hard to talk yourself up. I feel like it's just hard to talk up your own products when you're the one making them. So that's something that I'm still working on. I don't know if there's really a solution. It's more of just practicing every time you're at a market or selling to people. It's really hard to do, but just be proud of your work, and it's okay to show to others that you're proud of what you've accomplished and that you love your products and that you think they would like them. I'm still working on that, but people always appreciate when you feel confident in your products. For number 8, I said always be improving your product. For some people this might be like, well, duh. You always want to be improving, but a lot of times when you've put so much time and energy and mental thought towards a product and you finally finish it, sometimes in your brain you just have a check of, oh, this product is good, it's done, it's good to go. But I think you should always just be looking for ways to improve. So for me, I have changed up my labels since I've started. I also started making mini candles because I noticed that's something people would talk about at markets. So even if you think your product is the best it can absolutely be, always be paying attention to feedback that people have so that you can improve your product in the future. These candles are amazing and I'm so proud of them, but who knows what they'll look like in a year from now, because maybe I'll want to change to wood wicks or I'll put stickers on the top or something like that. It really is just how can I keep improving so that my customers are happy with their purchase and that I am evolving as a business owner. Number 9, easier said than done again, but it's be okay with making mistakes. This feels like torture to me. I absolutely hate making mistakes, especially because a lot of times it has to do with money. I'll have lost money in some kind of way. So the first thing that I can think of are my mystery boxes that I did. I thought that people would be really interested in these and would think that they were fun. No one cared. I don't think this really had that much interest in it. Luckily, I hadn't spent too much money on these, but I still have all of the boxes and all of the labels, and I don't even bring these to markets anymore. I think with candles, people just like to know what they're getting. So maybe in the future, I'll do these at a discount and I'll just put in candles that have slight imperfections, maybe things like a crooked label or maybe a dent that still are perfectly fine to burn. But yeah, I was really excited about these and they definitely have not performed how I thought they would. And that's okay because now I know, and now I can start branching out into other areas to find out what really resonates with my audience. The second thing that I kind of made a big mistake on was my stocking stuffers. If you guys watched my previous videos, you know that I went back and forth so many times on how I should package my stocking stuffers. I originally was going to do these boxes, but they weren't staying together very well and just not super well constructed. And then I went to these plastic sleeves, which are cheaper but don't look as good. And I thought so long and hard about all the different things that I could do. And at the end of the day, I took them to the markets and not a single person wanted them packaged together. So what I hadn't realized was, in my head, these 3 would be a stocking stuffer, but for everyone else, they wanted it to just be one candle as a stocking stuffer. So every person that I asked, would you like this packaged together? Do you want it wrapped separately? Every single person has said wrapped separately. So that's just something that I didn't realize, is that people wouldn't want to do sets of 3. They would just rather pick out a bunch of different candles to put in a bunch of different stockings. So I found that out super quickly, which is so funny because I agonized for so long over all the different packaging options and then I didn't even need to use them. So you live and you learn, truly. So even if it's technically a failure because you've lost money on it, at the end of the day, it does not really matter as long as you learn and take something from it. So I've learned a lot from those 2 mistakes that I've made, and I feel like it has just helped me understand my audience even better. And now when I'm going forward with new products and ideas, it's just more helpful because I already feel like I understand what people like and don't like. This is the last thing that I'm going to say, number 10, and I feel like it's the most important out of all of them, is that it's only embarrassing if you let yourself be embarrassed. And that's hard to do. It really is. I feel like it can be so embarrassing to start your small business and start promoting it. I remember that I hadn't even put anything on my actual Instagram account until I was, I don't know, 4 months in, and all I did was post about a giveaway that I was doing, but it just felt embarrassing to show people that I had a small candle business. I don't know why, because the thing is, when other people have small businesses and post about them, I love it. I think it is so fun and creative. I always like going to their accounts, seeing what they sell, and I just am so proud for that person. So I don't know why when it's you that's doing it, it feels so embarrassing for some reason. I don't know why. Sometimes I still feel like that with my YouTube videos. I have, I think, around 400 followers, which, don't get me wrong, is amazing, but I'm definitely on the smaller side of channels. And so sometimes when I tell people, oh, I can't hang out because I need to edit my YouTube video, it can just feel embarrassing. I've even had times where I've posted videos recently and I haven't had a single comment on it, which can sometimes just feel embarrassing because you maybe think, oh, I spent all of this time and effort creating and editing this YouTube video and no one really cares. But at the end of the day, showing up consistently and showing up for other people, I feel like will show you that it's not embarrassing at all. So even though it feels embarrassing, if you're not embarrassed, then it doesn't matter. And lately I've been able to have that mentality a lot better, and I've been kind of excited to tell people that I have a YouTube channel. Even if I am a lot smaller of a channel, just realize that other people out there are not judging you as harshly as you're judging yourself. In fact, I feel like 99% of the people are so nice and so supportive, and if there's that 1% of people who maybe comment a mean thing or judge you for trying to have a small business, that's not someone you really want to be your friend anyways. So I've been trying so hard to get better at that and just telling people that I have a YouTube channel instead of being embarrassed. And I think I really need to, on my main account, start promoting my business more, because I know I have a lot of friends and family on there that would love to see what I'm up to. So yeah, I feel like there's a million more things that I could say with starting a business. These are just the 10 that kind of stood out to me while I was making this. Oh, I completely forgot about my tea. We're doing a peppermint tea today. So I just want to say, if any of you guys have a small business or are thinking about doing a small business, you got this. It's going to be so fun. At times it can be stressful, but overall it is the most amazing community, and it is so fun to get to be your own boss and get to be creative and fun and come up with products that you really believe in. So I'm really excited for this next upcoming year. I'm thinking about maybe potentially doing another product that isn't a candle. I really like to do a lot of creative artistic things. I like to draw a lot as well. I'm thinking about maybe taking some drawings that I've done and do certain products with them. So I'm just so excited about that. I'm still so new to this. I feel like I'm still just making things up as I go. So I've learned so much in the last 6 months, and I know I'm going to learn so much more in this next year. Also, if you own a small business, I would love if you put some of your advice down below for anyone who needs help. I've definitely been there where I've been watching YouTube video after YouTube video, looking at all the different Facebook groups, and just feeling so overwhelmed with it. So I hope this video can help at least one person out there. Just know that I'm rooting for you and that you got this. Oh, and happy holidays, because this video will be posted the week of Christmas. So I hope everyone has the best holiday season ever, and I love you guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye.